With so much software and so many services available in the short-term rental industry these days, it's increasingly difficult to keep up to date with what's on the market and to determine whether it's a maybe or a must-have for you and your business. So meet one provider each week in a short interview, learning what they do and what they offer. So if you have around 20 minutes to spare, it could prove to be a very good investment to stick around. So let's see who and what is out there, one by one, with me, Deborah Larby, also known as the Guest Inspector. Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Techsplained with the Guest Inspector. Communication is key to any good relationship, and in this industry, communication with your guest is extremely important, particularly how they get the message and when. There are phones, emails, text, WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, and probably more. How do you pick the right one? And then what about communication once your guest arrives? And then all the things you want to share with them once they're there. How do you make sure your guest has the best possible experience? Well, today we'll learn about some software that can help you with just that. Today, my guest is Naz from RueBaRue. Hello, Naz. How are you?
Hi, good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you very much for coming along today. Naz, we're going to start, as we usually do, in one sentence. Can you please tell us, what does RueBaRue do?
We provide guest communication tools so property managers can save time answering those repeat calls they get from guests before they arrive and during their stay. Right.
Okay. So I'm a property manager. I want to save time and I want my guests looked after. So what is the procedure? How do I sign up with you, and then what do I get?
Sure. So we have two products. So one is the digital guestbook product. It has everything the guest needs to plan the trip, to arrive, to check in, to information about the house, as well as information about the area. So that's one of our products. Mm-hmm. And the second product is text messaging. And text messaging is it starts with automation. So they can start communicating with the guest as soon as they book, mm-hmm. Sending pre-arrival information, upon arrival information. If there are emergencies in the market, like a hurricane, mm-hmm. They can send those emergency information to the guest, as well as pre-departure instructions. So if you need to tell them to clean up the property before they check out, those sort of details. Trash pickup days is a big problem. So properties you have to drop off the trash on Monday, Tuesdays, Wednesdays. Remind the guest on the right day, so they know when to leave the trash. So these are all part of our text communication product, including two-way communication with the guest.
Okay, so we'll come back to the guidebook because I'm a bit fascinated by the texting. I was giving it some thought before this episode, and I know that some people use WhatsApp. And when I've been a guest, they want to use WhatsApp. And I was thinking, I actually do prefer text, because to me, text is temporary and disposable, whereas WhatsApp is more my family and friends, and I don't want this holiday taking up space in my WhatsApp privacy section of my phone. So how do you find, what is it, only text? And how do you find, what's the open rate, or people are reading it? Obviously, it's like, are people paying attention to the text coming through?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think text messaging, compared to any non-US country, in the US and in North America, text is used widely more than WhatsApp. Mm-hmm. Typically when a property manager sends information by email, it gets read less than 50% of the time. Yeah. Whereas with text messaging, it's more than 95%. Yeah. So, and it gets read immediately. So it's not, there's no delay in reading that message. And that's also important for a property manager.
Yeah. I think there is a difference in psychology about a text message. It is an instant thing and it is a disposal thing, but it is something that will catch people's attention. You're right. That's right. How I look at it. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. So these text messages, that's all part of the automation from the time of booking. So that means you're integrated with PMS to get the details?
Exactly. So we are integrated with all the top PMS software out there, including Streamline, Escapia, Guesty, LiveRes, and Track. And so As soon as a guest books, we import that information into our system. So we get the guest arrival, departure dates, their phone number, and email address. And that's how we know when to send these messages to the guest.
Right. So I, as a property manager, though, I customize the whole communication journey for the guest. I customize that, right?
Exactly. So you can, customize it from, you can say, I want to send this message as soon as they book. You can say, I want to send this 2 weeks before they arrive or a day before. It's exactly what you want to do.
Right.
Of course, we have another option where you can also send impromptu messages. So if there's an emergency or there's a elevator is broken in a condo building, so you can do impromptu messaging as well.
Mm-hmm.
But on standard, once you set these automations up, and you're done with it.
Right. And the automations, can they be email as well as text, or email or text?
We do both. I mean, we recommend that we do both, because sometimes there are international travelers, they may not get the text message. Yeah. So we ask our property managers to supplement all text messages with an email. Yeah. But the primary sort of driver is to use texting and get people to text as well. Yeah. There's also another benefit with texting, which I just want to jump in and add, is a lot of our property managers get their bookings from an OTA. Mm-hmm. So such as Airbnb, VRBO, and Booking.com. And when they book through an OTA, they don't get at the guest's email address. Mm-hmm. But what they do get is their cell phone number. So it makes it even more important to communicate with them by text over those alias emails you get from the OTAs.
Mm-hmm. And my sneaky little mind thought, oh, yeah, you're communicating with them and then you can get their email address from the OTA guest. Okay. Via text.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, a lot of people tend to do it. I mean, so OTAs are important, but property managers also want direct bookings, and having that contact information is important.
Yeah. And so while we're on text, there's something called text web chat. How does that work then?
Sure. So we've done our texting for the past 4 years. And one thing I see is that every property manager, you go on their website, the only way to contact their offices through calling a number or filling out a form. Nobody wants to fill out a form, and calling a number is a tedious process. Yeah. Now they could use the traditional chat software. A traditional chat you've seen on many websites, retail websites or utility website, and they're annoying in two different ways. One is, you have to respond within 30 seconds to a minute because no one wants to stay on your website. And the person who's asking a question, whether it could be a potential guest or a potential owner, they have to stay on the website to get a response. So what we've implemented is a text-based web chat tool. So we give a single line of code, they drop it in, and the tool is available. And when someone comes in and puts their phone number and their name and the question, we immediately auto-respond to them. And we auto-respond by text, and we move the conversation from web to text. So now they're texting the potential guest, because a lot of these property managers, they don't have small properties, they have large properties, and the guests are shopping and they're looking at different properties, and these are expensive properties as well. So they may have questions over 2-3 days before they actually do the booking. So giving property managers access to the potential guests information, so they can be in touch and provide the level of service and answers. And also they can potentially offer some discounts to say, hey, come book it the next couple of days and we give you a 5% discount. So that is our SMS web chat. So it's a text-based chat software that starts the conversation on the web.
Yeah. And just to visualize this, all of these text chats and automations and everything, it's all happening on a dashboard. So if someone pops up on the website and I answer that, that's documented on a dashboard?
It is documented on a dashboard. So we have 2 ways a property managers can respond. So we have a desktop interface. We call it a unified text inbox. Yeah. So the entire team can look at all the messages going back and forth, and anyone can respond. But we also have a mobile app for property managers and their teams. So we have an iPhone and an Android app, so they don't have to be at their laptops to respond to the guests. So they can be anywhere around the world. As long as they have Wi-Fi access, they can be sitting on a beach and responding to a guest question. Not just the questions coming from guests, but also coming from the website. And we can also, through our system, they can add owners and other vendors into the same platform. So they're all in one place, and they're all tracked as well. So if there are disputes, you can pull up that information and use it.
Yep, great. That's very, very good. Okay, so let's go to the, let's go to the guidebook. So you've got the automated messaging going out, and then let's say a week before, 3 days before, whatever, we send the guidebook. Now, how does that go out? How is the guidebook put together? Where do you pull information, or do I have to create it from scratch? And how does the guest get hold of it? How do I get it to the guest?
Yeah. No, so what we do is, with our integration into a lot of these property management software, if they have the information in the software, we automatically pull everything. So the first thing we do with the integration is we create all the guidebooks for each home automatically. So we pull the list of addresses, and we generate all the guides. And if it has Wi-Fi, door code, trash pickup information, and things like maybe directions, amenities, we pull all those information into the guidebooks automatically. So that's so the guides are pretty much, you can set up the guide in a few minutes with the integration. Now, once the guide ready, you can send an automated message through our system where we generate a unique link for each guest for the guest book. So you get a link, and that's specific for you because it has your booking information, your arrival departure dates, and information specific for your booking. Now, in many cases, a lot of companies use smart locks, so you may have a different smart lock code than another guest staying in the same property. So we also include the smart lock code in the guest book. So these can be sent by email or text before the guest arrives. Generally, people send it by email 2 to 4 weeks before, so that they can reduce the question, and it also helps the guest plan for their trip. Now, traditionally, what used to happen is they used to have a physical binder in the home, which gets outdated. They cannot keep it up to date. They have to print it, and it gets dirty. And what the binders don't do is it doesn't answer the questions that the guest has before they arrive. So what is provided in the house? I think the number one question our property managers get is, hey, what coffee maker do you have? Do you provide dishwashing soap for a week? So with a guest book, you can answer all those questions before they arrive, so they know what to pack and be prepared for it.
Yeah. I just want to go back to, I don't know if my brain didn't click it exactly. If you're saying about with the guidebook and the smart lock, how does the smart lock code get generated for that particular unique link for the guest?
Sure. So usually the property management software does the task for us. So basically, if a company is using Point Central or Kaba locks, the property management software, as soon as they get a confirmed booking, they make a request to the lock system, generate a key for that booking for the start and end dates, and then they store it there, and we pull that door code into our system through the PMS. Now, we do have integrations with 2 different lock systems. So for some customers, we have integrated with a couple of lock products as well. But generally, we pull it from the property management software.
Yeah, that's great. So in terms of the smart lock codes and everything, it's all automated. If you've got smart lock software and I don't have to worry about giving a new code. It's all done automatically. Great.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Now, with the digital guidebook, let's say I have 50 properties and I've got some common rules and then some specific rules for the houses. I can do a generic rule change for all 50?
Exactly. So what we do is we give you something called a master, home guide template. So it's a template for all the homes. So the structurally the same. Most of the information is the same. The small, unique information, which is guest specific, either we pull it from the PMS or property specific, like, trash pickup is on Wednesdays. That information we can pull it, or you can go into each property and input that information yourself.
Okay. And what about the area, information about the area, like restaurants? Let's say you've got 5 properties in one particular area. Can you use that the master guide for the area as well?
Exactly. So what we do is you can create one area guide for each of your markets. So sometimes if it's a large city, say like San Diego, you might have 4 different guides because your homes are in 4 different corners of the city.
Yeah.
But if you're in a small market, you can have one guide. So you can have as many guides as possible.
Yeah.
One of the unique things we do is we license content from Google. So we automatically create restaurants, grocery stores, pharmacies, things to do. Automatically, we generate it for each of the markets.
Yeah.
And then as a local expert, they can come in and tweak it. You can say, I've been in this town and I can tweak it with your own recommendations. And because we tie it with Google, adding a place, removing place is very easy.
Yeah.
And we maintain the content as well. So if a restaurant closes, we take it off. If hours change, we update it. So we keep the area guide as fresh as possible.
Mm-hmm. And is that guidebook branded to me?
Absolutely. It has to be. I mean, our product it's a SaaS product. So we are mostly selling a service.
Yeah.
It's a product for our property managers so they can add their logo, their color schemes, and their pictures. Our guidebooks also can include videos, and PDFs. So anything that they want to include to create that immersive, unique experience that the manager wants to offer.
Yeah, like the how to use the oven and things like that. Great. I also spotted on your website, you calculate on the area guide, it calculates the distance. So you can decide whether you want to drive or walk. I thought that's pretty good.
Oh, exactly. I mean, I think, as a traveler, right? So when you go to a destination, the first thing you do is what do I do, or where do I go eat? And then you see how are the reviews? Is it open? Is it suitable for my needs? How far is it? I mean, these are all the questions you have. And we answer all of those questions in a place where it's customized by the local experts. And I think that's the most important part. When we set out to build the product, our goal was to we constantly think about the guest and see what is the best possible experience that the guest should have, whether it's about the home or the area. And so we think about every aspect of it to make sure that the experience is, it's amazing. Yeah,
because you arrive at a new place and you don't have a sense of scale. So you might see it on a map, but you don't know the and hills and things like that. Yeah,
and one of the things you can also do in our guides is add a little tip for your guests. When you add a place, you add a restaurant. I want to know, why should I go to that restaurant? Because I can read reviews on TripAdvisor or Yelp, but I want to know, is it family friendly? Does it have a view of the ocean? Or even what to order? Does it have great seafood? Why should I go there? So telling that local story is important.
Yeah. Okay. And I just want to go back to the texting for a second, because you mentioned trash. Now, trash is one that if you are expecting your guests to take the bins out, I remember I used to organize someone to take the bins out. But if you're expecting your guests to, can you have an automated text that goes out on a particular night every week to whoever happens to be booked at that time?
Yeah, I mean, that's something we didn't have for a long time. We're just rolling it out. So it's a thing where they could say, if the trash pickup day for this property is Wednesday, on Tuesday at 5 p.m., we can send a reminder, or on the same day morning to remind them that you have to put the trash out before certain time. And it is annoying for a guest to do it, but unfortunately, if someone is staying for a month, for a week, it's at least, to give the guests the privacy, they have to take the trash and put it out. So it's a big problem.
Give them the reminder, because if they miss it and they've got a pile, a bin that's overflowing, that's not good. That's not good guest experience. So okay, let's say, excuse me, we've got the guidebook. The guest is in. They've got the digital guidebook. They've got the area guidebook, and they're checking out. So you also deal with reviews.
Correct. So,
and how does that work?
So the online reputation is one of the most important things that the property managers has to worry about in the coming years, because especially if they want to drive direct business, the first thing, the first time guest is going to do is search for the business and find their information on Google. So when you search for a vacation rental, on the right side, it pulls up the name of the business, how many reviews they have, what kind of rating you have. And that makes them decide if they want to even go into the website and, book a place, because the less reviews you have, the lower the rating is, the less likely they are to go and, book a place there. So what we do is one of our automations that a property manager can send out is, it can be sent, right an hour after checkout. with a simple question that asks, how would you rate your stay from 1 to 5 stars? And if they give 5 stars, it pushes them to Google. And we also offer Yelp and TripAdvisor and Facebook, so they can choose any of the links. But if they give less than 5 stars, it takes them to a survey tool that we have built in.
Yeah.
Because what we want is, obviously, we want feedback from the guest, so the property managers can improve on it. But the idea here is to push high reviews to Google or other sort of social media sites. But when it comes to less than 5, there are 2 categories. So there is people who are nitpicky and they give 3 or 4 stars. You want to find out what they have to say and then work with your team to improve on it. But there's also one dangerous one, which is the 1 stars. There's not a single property manager who's not experienced a guest who has given them 1 star, right? So where they're somehow unhappy from the beginning and they are annoyed throughout the stay and they are upset. So you want to give them a channel to let them, let the property manager know that they were unhappy. And what that does is sometimes, they may not go and sort of, say the same things 10 times in 10 different places. So if they have a chance to give a feedback, that's good for PM to, hopefully that they don't sort of go and write the same thing across, various sites.
Yeah, absolutely. Good. It's dealt with it straight up. And you also have analytics. Now, does that mean I can see exactly what aspects of the digital guidebook the guest is using, what's not being used, etc.?
Exactly. Yeah. So you can see like when they viewed it, and we track the thing as soon as they view it. The property managers know that they viewed it, because sometimes they want to make sure that the guest has received the information. Because that's a lot of important things. We also track every tab they click, everything that they do on the guest book. We track all of those. And also in terms of texting, every message that goes back and forth between the team and the guest, everything is tracked, so that if there are disputes, they can easily pull it up and see if there's a problem, they can dig it up. We also do a couple of other stats as, when they send an email, we also sort of show them what are the times they're viewing it and what's the optimal time to send emails and optimal time to send text. And when exactly, how long are they using the guest book is also important, because they look at some information before they arrive, and as soon as they arrive, they're looking at the area information. So we provide all that through our analytics. Yeah.
Oh, so this is all on the dashboard. As a property manager, I'll have a dashboard and I can actually then go and analyze what is being used when and plan accordingly. Okay, great. And then after the guest is checked out, that link that they had expires and they can't look at the digital guidebook again, and that's it, finished.
Exactly. Yeah. That's exactly how it is. And because there's a lot of, private information that it will do. Yeah.
It's a shame that when it expires, it should just turn into a postcard. Hope you had a great stay. Book again, direct, and save.
That's a great feedback. I mean, that's something we can easily do. I mean, we do say it's expired, but maybe that's a great idea. And maybe it's not difficult to do that at all.
Yeah. So happy to help.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is your unique selling point? Do you have one?
I think quite a few. I think the idea of end-to-end communication is important. It's not just about just sending emails or just text messaging, but it's combining emails, text, and guest book. Is that and thinking about the guest from the beginning of the journey till the end is important, and that's what we do. And I think we're the only few who does that really well. Licensing Google data and creating the guidebooks automatically is something we do, which is unique to our business. Even the review feature, I haven't seen anyone else in our sector do that yet. But those are the top ones. And from our as a company, I mean, we provide, you can be up and running with our text messaging in less than an hour. So all we do is we get the token, they create an account, and we train them for 30 minutes and they're done. So there's nothing that needs to be done to activate the texting. Because we know PMs don't have the time. So we wanted to make sure that the time it takes to set up is as little as possible. So
yeah, you've just sprung another question. What phone number is being used for this text message? For the representing the company?
Yeah, so we generate a number. We use Twilio as a service to send messages. So we buy a number for your business with a local area code. So we use that number for sending and receiving messages for on your behalf.
Okay. And just out of interest then, when someone gets the message, usually it has the number across the top. Is it possible that it's your company name, or is it a random number?
Yeah, right now it is a random number. But generally, I mean, we send about 1 million messages a year.
Yeah.
And generally the guests, as long as it has information about the business, they are fine with it.
Yeah.
I mean, even I get a lot of these messages from Amazon and other things.
Yeah.
It doesn't have anything specific. It just says, okay, your product has been delivered, and it's come from Amazon.
Yeah. Okay. And also the text messaging, if it's going to a foreigner, it's got to have the plus country code, or otherwise it won't work, or it will just go to a wrong number. How do you know in case it's gone to a wrong number?
Yeah, so two ways. So one is we handle all sorts of formats. So we send messages to pretty much most countries around the world.
Yeah.
And usually the rental software will provide that information for international numbers as a plus.
Yeah.
For domestic numbers, sometimes they don't do it. So we have a tool that recognizes what number it is, and we set it up and we format the number and store it.
Yeah.
Now, if a text is, we can't deliver the text. I mean, sometimes what happens is they give their office line as a number, or the home line, or they might accidentally add an extra digit. Some software doesn't test for that case.
Yeah.
When we do that, what happens is, we get the bounce back, and we notify the property manager immediately by email saying that this message was not delivered. Find a way to deliver this message.
Yeah. Great. Okay. Now, also then, why would I use your product?
The biggest reason is today, the guests are not reading emails anymore. I mean, as much as they used to. So if you're sending an email with important information about, the home and arrival information, they're not. So there's too much of pre-arrival calls. So a lot of our customers will see a reduction in phone calls by anywhere from 50 to 75% as soon as they start using our software. So reducing the number of calls is very important. It also makes it efficient. So during busy times, a lot of these markets are very busy for 12 to 16 weeks in a year, and they tend to hire new staff to just handle phone calls. Now, with phone calls, you can take one call at a time. With texting, you can handle 5 guests at the same time. It's also another thing is if you're short-staffed, which is a big problem, in this market. So if you're short-staffed, you want as many automations as possible. So if you get the same question, we have an option to say save responses. So you can quickly reply to the guest in half a second rather than calling them answering. So that's one.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it's about, providing a great service for your guest, because what property managers want is the guest loyalty. So they can come back next year or refer their business. And if you provide great communication, great information about your area, so if they have a great vacation, you're doing a great service as well, because the guest is transformed. They had a great stay.
Yeah.
And then, if they enjoyed their stay, they're going to come back, or they'll refer you to another, their friends or family.
Now, and also then, who is your target audience? How big a property management company, or is it just one owner? Do you have a sweet spot?
Yeah, we are open to all. So we have a lot of people who are single owners. We have, we've started off as an enterprise product. So our general size is anywhere from 50 to 100 units. But we love everyone. I mean, if someone comes with 2-3 units, we want them to use it. And this tool becomes useful only when you have 3 units and more, because that's where the scaling effect happens. And if there's a new property manager who wants to get to 50 units without having to hire 2-3 people, this is a great tool to have.
And where is your target audience? Are you just are you just looking after US?
Yeah, we are currently focused on North America. So we have customers in Canada, US, and Mexico.
Yeah,
we don't do anything heavily outside, but we have customers in Australia, UK, and France. So we do get people using our guestbook from all over.
Okay, so they can use it. It's not like it won't work.
It won't. Yeah, it will. Yeah,
it will work.
It'll work. Yeah.
Okay, great. Good. Now, okay, so granted it's in America, let's say, how much does it cost? Ballpark. How much does it
Sure. Our pricing, we want to keep it transparent, so it's on the website. So if anyone wants to see it, they can.
Yep.
For an average size of company with 50 units, the guest messaging is about $4 per property per month. The text messaging is the same price, $4. And if they bundle it, it's about $5.66 per property per month. That's the average.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you exceed 100, the price drops to $3 and $3.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but if you're small, it starts at $9.99. If you have just one unit, it starts up at $9.99 per property per month.
Yeah. Okay. And is there a contract? I mean, I suppose if the setup time is not so long, do you want someone to sign up for a year, or is it just rolling over month to month?
They can do either. I mean, so we don't do any contracts. We don't believe in that as well, because it's if they find a use for your product, they should use it. If not, they shouldn't.
Yeah.
So people can choose either month to month or annual. If they do a yearly subscription, they get 2 months off. But if they do month to month, they can cancel it anytime.
Great. Well, let's come to the end of my usual questions. Was there something else about RueBaRue that we haven't touched on or that we should know about?
Not really. I mean, what I generally tell people is that if they're looking at a guest communication product, whether it's a guest book or text messaging, we recommend that you try out, the top 2 or 3 options and see what is the right option for you, both from functionality as well as, the cost. That's important. And what we do, is sometimes what happens is, property managers take the time to make the decision. So we offer a 20% discount on the first year if they sign up and go live within 30 days. I mean, again, it's sort of pushing them to make a decision fast and then go live fast.
Yeah.
And if they do that, they get the 20% discount, which is actually a big saving for a lot of companies.
Yeah. No, it's a great way to get going. Absolutely. Good. Well, if anyone has any questions for Naz or RueBaRue, pop them in the comments below. I will put a link for RueBaRue in the description below. Naz, it's been a pleasure learning about RueBaRue finally. I'd heard about you sometime last year and I was like, what does RueBaRue do? Thank you very much. Now I know.
Thank
we
you.
all do. Thank you very much, Naz. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you'd like to catch up on ones you've missed, just head to the Techsplained or if you're short for time, you can head to thetechminis.com where you'll find extra short interviews. See you next time.